Hello viewers, welcome back to a new video of transportation system in animals. Living organisms need to move substances into the cell and out of the cell and also to the neighboring cells. Substances in the form of solids like the food particles, in the form of gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide, in the form of solutions like the solutions of nutrients and enzymes, hormones along with excretory wastes. These are to be transported from one part of the body to the other part of the body. In unicellular organisms, this process is very simple. But in case of complex multicellular organisms, because of the size and the distance between the cells, this process cannot be carried out simply by the process of diffusion. That's why an elaborate system which is coordinated by the pumping organ that is done and which constitutes the circulatory system that is known as vascular system. Let us know about it in detail. Types of circulatory systems. One is the blood vascular system, where blood is the main fluid. Second is lymph vascular system, where lymph is the main fluid. Let us know the principal fluids of the body. These are of three types: blood, lymph and tissue fluid. What is blood? Blood is contained in the heart and the blood vessels of the circulatory system. The blood vessels are arteries, veins and the capillaries. Lymph. This fluid is present within the lymph vessels and lymphatic organs like the spleen and tonsils. Then tissue fluid. It is also called interstitial fluid, which occurs between the spaces in between the cells in the organs. That means the space between the cells of the organs that is filled with a fluid which is known as tissue fluid. Let us know the non-circulating fluids of the body. Synovial fluid. There is a space between the two bones. So the meeting place between the two bones is known as joint, and there is a space which is created that is called as synovial space and which is filled with synovial fluid. So this synovial fluid is non-circulating fluid and it helps in the movement of human being, and that is surrounded or protected by the cartilage on both the sides. Aqueous humor and vitreous humor. Aqueous humor is present in front of the lens, whereas vitreous humor is present behind the lens. So these fluids are also non-circulating fluids. Endolymph and perilymph. These are contained in the inner ear. So inner ear, which is known as labyrinth, it contains the endolymph that is in the central cavity of the cochlea and semicircular canals, whereas the perilymph is present on the outer two cavities in the inner ear. Types of blood circulation. There are two types of blood circulation. One is open circulation, second is closed circulation. What is open circulation? You can see in this diagram. So a circulatory system where blood does not remain confined to blood vessels but flows through open spaces and channels in the tissues. So these open spaces are called as lacunae or sinuses. So here blood vessels open into these spaces and not into the capillaries, so that blood comes in direct contact with the tissues. Because of lack of any definite vessel, so this type of circulation is called as open circulation. It is found mostly in invertebrates like the snail and insects. But in closed circulation, the circulatory system where blood flows in definite blood vessels, means blood flows through the capillaries that is connected by the arteries and the veins. That means capillaries connect the arteries with the veins, and the circulation of the limited volume of the blood that is very rapid, and a high blood pressure is maintained by the elastic muscular walls of the blood vessels. So this type of blood circulation is mostly found in case of vertebrates, and among the invertebrates in earthworm it is specific. Let's know the properties of blood. Blood is never stationary because always it flows. Then color of the blood. The blood which is bright red, that indicates it is oxygenated blood, and if the color of the blood is dark red, that is known as the deoxygenated blood. So due to presence of more oxygen and due to presence of more carbon dioxide, the variation in the color occurs. Then volume. Adult human being contains 5 to 6 liters of blood. The taste of the blood. It is mostly found to be little saltish due to presence of sodium chloride. pH. That ranges between 7.3 to 7.45. Transportation of respiratory gases. The respiratory gases are oxygen and carbon dioxide. Let us know first about the transportation of oxygen. As we know, the lungs are the main organs of respiration, and the surface of the lungs contain a number of alveoli. So alveoli are thin and they are surrounded with blood capillaries. These blood capillaries which surround the alveolus, they carry oxygen. Oxygen cannot be transported alone, rather it is combined with hemoglobin, and hemoglobin is attached to the surface of RBC. RBC means it is erythrocyte. So the compound which is formed, that is known as oxyhemoglobin. This is symbolized as HbO2. So this oxyhemoglobin is transported to the organ. So organs contain the tissues and the cells. So when oxyhemoglobin reaches to the organ, here hemoglobin is separated from oxygen because HbO2 is an unstable compound, and so hemoglobin is separated from oxygen and oxygen enters into the organ. In this way, blood helps in transportation of oxygen into the organ, means into the cells. Now let's see how carbon dioxide is transported. This is the body organ. They release carbon dioxide. Each cell releases carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is transported through the blood by different ways. It may travel in the form of bicarbonate, means through the plasma, in the form of sodium bicarbonate, and some amount of carbon dioxide also are transported along with hemoglobin. So the compound which is formed between carbon dioxide and hemoglobin, that is called as carbaminohemoglobin. That is written HbCO2. This is also an unstable compound. So when HbCO2, carbaminohemoglobin, it reaches to the heart. So from the heart, this carbon dioxide is transported to the lungs, and from the lungs, carbon dioxide is eliminated to exterior by the process of exhalation, that is part of breathing. Transportation of nutrients. The nutrients are mostly glucose, amino acids, then vitamins, minerals. Let us consider the structure of the small intestine, because digestion is completed in the small intestine, and wall of the small intestine contains intestinal villi. Each villus is surrounded by blood capillaries. So these nutrients, these are transported through these blood capillaries and they reach to the liver. Liver is the site where excess glucose is converted to glycogen, like that amino acids, vitamins, minerals, all these are now transported from the liver to the other body cells. This way blood helps in transportation of nutrients. Transportation of waste products of metabolism. The waste products produced from the cells are mostly urea, then excess water, and also some amount of salts. So these substances which are produced from the organ, these are now transported to the liver where urea is produced, and from the liver urea is transported to the kidney, and kidney helps in formation of urine that is eliminated to exterior. So blood is the medium which helps in transportation of the substances, the waste products. So liver is the site of formation of urea and kidney is the site of formation of urine. Transportation of hormones. Hormones are produced from the endocrine glands. And the endocrine glands, we secrete the hormones, and the hormones are called as chemical messenger. And through the bloodstream, they are now transported to different sites and reach to the target cells or the target organ. Regulation of body temperature. The normal body temperature of human being is 98.6 degree Fahrenheit, and it is always kept constant because human beings are homeostatic organisms. But during the summer season, temperature tends to rise and it is regulated by the skin. The peripheral blood vessels of the skin, they dilate, means they widen, and this process is called as vasodilation. Due to that, sweating occurs and the body temperature is restored. But during the winter season, the body temperature is to be restored. That's why the blood vessels under the skin, they become constricted. This process is called as vasoconstriction. So no more sweating and the body temperature is restored, and both the processes are carried out or regulated by the thermostat organ, that is hypothalamus of the brain. Maintaining homeostasis. Homeostasis means maintaining the internal environment constant. That means each body cell must contain the same amount of water, approximately same amount of water, and also same amount of heat, along with that same amount of other minerals, that must be remain constant. So how is it carried out? As we know that there are certain cells like the liver cells and also the muscle cells where more amount of heat is generated. So this excess heat from these cells, these are distributed to the other body cells through the bloodstream. Means blood is the medium, so that helps in transportation of heat to the other body cells. In this way, the internal environment is kept constant. Protection against infection. Let us consider it is the organ. If any germ which is considered as the foreign substance enters into the organ, immediately the immune system of the organ, the immune system of the body becomes activated. It is immediately recognized by the WBC, because WBC, which is known as the leukocyte, that is present in the bloodstream. So this WBC, one form of WBC, that is called as lymphocyte, it produces antibodies. So this antibody will engulf the germ. Then another type of WBC, which is known as monocyte, directly it can engulf the germ. So in this way, through the bloodstream, these types of WBCs, they can kill the germ, they can trap the germ, and they protect the organ or the cell of the body from the foreign invasion. Let us classify the blood vascular system, that is known as cardiovascular system. Composition of blood in a normal adult. The fluid part of the blood, which is known as plasma, whereas the cellular part of the blood is known as foam element. Plasma constitutes three important things: water, which is approximately 90 to 91%, protein, which is approximately 7 to 8%, and other solutes, which is approximately 1%. The proteins are various types. These are albumins, globulin, and fibrinogen, whereas the solutes constitute mostly the salts of sodium and potassium, like the sodium chloride, sodium bicarbonate, potassium chloride, potassium bicarbonate, and phosphates. Also, it constitutes the respiratory gases. Then the foam elements. So the foam elements are classified as three categories. These are erythrocytes, are known as RBC. Second category, WBC. Third, platelets. RBC is known as red blood corpuscle. The biological term is erythrocyte. WBC is white blood corpuscle. The biological term is leukocyte, whereas platelets are called thrombocytes. WBC is again divided two categories. These are granulocytes and agranulocytes. Granulocytes are of three types. These are eosinophils, basophils, and neutrophils. Agranulocytes are of two types. These are monocytes and lymphocytes. Now let's know the blood vessels. Blood vessels are of three types. These are arteries, veins, and capillaries. The heart is the controlling center. It is four-chambered in case of mammals. The upper two chambers are called the anterior chambers, which are known as auricles, and the lower two chambers or the posterior chambers are called the ventricles. Lymphatic system constitutes lymph, lymph vessels, and lymph nodes. Lymph, which constitutes the cellular part and non-cellular part. The cellular part, which contains the lymphocytes, whereas non-cellular part constitutes water and solids like carbohydrates, proteins, fats, antibodies. These are the solids. Lymph vessels can be categorized as the smaller lymph vessels, which are known as lymph capillaries, otherwise known as lymphatics, whereas these lymph capillaries which arise in the intestinal villi, those are known as lacteals. Then lymph nodes. Lymph nodes are specialized structures. These are bead-like structures or enlargements, and these contain WBCs, and these lymph nodes are abundant mostly in the armpit, in the neck region. So tonsils, then thymus and spleen are the important lymphatic organs of the body. So the lymph nodes which are mostly found in the armpit, in the neck region. Blood is river of the life, and blood is also known as the fluid connective tissue. This is justified in this video. Meet you in the next video. Thank you.